grab a cuppa, get cushy, and consider subscribing because today we are back in Snowdrift Sanctuary and we're going to be building an adorable habitat for the Capuchin monkeys. So in the same way that we had to build this structure for the anteaters, we're going to have to do something similar for the Capuchin monkeys. So I decided to do a slightly different technique today in that I'm going to create more of a dome rather than something that looks a bit like a greenhouse. So to do that I'm going to start off by going into the construction section and I'm going to go back into the concrete base. And again I'm going to go with the 4 meters because I know that I am likely to be sinking into the ground again. So just to get that consistency of style. Now I'm going to make it too wide so that we can have the path coming along as before. Now I want it to be quite a large dome, larger than this one. So I'm going to go and put that about there. Cool, okay. And then I'm going to go over and I'm going to swap back to the glass. Like so. So at this point I'm basically just creating a slice of the dome, which I'm then going to go and duplicate to form the rest of the structure. So it's really important that at this stage you get it completely accurate and everything's lined up properly and stuff, because once you start duplicating it the number of pieces increases and it becomes a lot of different groups and it becomes very difficult to correct any issues that you have. And then I want it to be quite a tall building so that we can put in the climbing for the capuchins. So I'm going to use a 6 meter piece, like so. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to put a bit of straight roof in, and then I'm probably going to put another like domed section on. But I want to make sure that there's a decent amount of room between the 2 dome sections. So I will show you what I mean in just a moment. Okay, so if you have a look, you can see that I've gone and created the basic shape, and then where I've got the second part of the dome for the roof, I've made sure that I've gone and put in some supports just to help make it look a bit more realistic. I've chosen to go with some of the painted bamboo supports just to try and tie in with that jungle feel. So now that I've got that all and it's all in one group, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the duplicate with advanced move, make sure the angle snap is turned off, hit X so that you get back to the angle, turning, and then just rotate it. You want to make sure that you're rotating it to the point where it is just touching. So this is the bit where it gets very fiddly. But the better you get it connected, the easier it is later on. So can you see there is still a very small gap there? So it's not quite right. And unfortunately the key to this is just persistence. So there we don't actually have that gap, so that is perfect. So I'm just going to do like that. Now unfortunately you can't duplicate with advanced and move multiple sections, so you're going to have to go group by group, which can be quite time consuming. And if you want to do it as a blueprint, you then lose the ability to precisely move it, so you then have to realign every single time. So while this is time consuming, this is the best way that I've found to build these domes, but it's not exactly very fun watching me trying to get these lined up. So once I've got the dome kind of constructed, I will come back and show you what the next steps are. Okay, so as you can see I've gone and finished duplicating all of the different segments. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out where I want to put my entrances, and then I'm going to click on each individual group and go to the group edit mode. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of these pieces and I'm going to swap them out for these ones here. So if we go and find the glass panels, So you want to make sure that you're getting them as lined up as best you can. That one. And let's go and put it over on this side as well. Like that. The other thing is it's not sticking very well because I haven't got the grid height on. So I'm just going to set the grid height to 1. And then that should hold its place a bit better. And snap a bit easier as well. So like that. And then I'm going to go into the roof pieces. And it was the 4-meter arch that I used. So I'm just going to snap these into place. And I'm also going to go and duplicate the concrete just so it doesn't look like it's floating. Like that. So I'm going to have the guests coming in here, and then I kind of want to have 2 habitats in here. So I want to have the capuchins, and I'm also going to put Bard's Tapir in with the capuchins because they can share enrichment and benefit from it. So I'm going to put those in, and then I'm also going to put in probably some Jaguars and get a real kind of tropical feeling going. So I'm going to have the guests coming in this way, and then I kind of want them to go off into this kind of direction. So the smaller segment will be for the capuchins because they don't need quite as much room. So I'm probably going to have it coming off probably around about here. So I'm going to come out of that group, and let's go with this group here, and then we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go and get rid of these pieces. We're going to get the 4-meter arch pieces, pop them into here, get the matching wall pieces that go with them. There's this one. Make sure it's lined up nicely, and pop it on the other side as well, and then just duplicate the concrete. So 1 and 2. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go and shimmy it so that these two are connected. I will skip to that point because it's probably not going to be very interesting watching me trying to wrangle this into place. So I will see you in just a moment. Okay, so I've gone and put in the pathing, and I've also gone and put in the boundary for the habitat, and it is a nice big habitat, so we have to worry about that. One thing that's quite cool, if you have a look at the Zoopedia for the Capuchin monkey, if I can find it, in the barriers it actually requests water, so you don't even necessarily have to put a boundary in. So I'm going to use that premise here. We need to make sure that it is at least 3 meters wide and greater than 1 meter deep. So what we're going to do is going to go to the terrain tools. I'm probably going to use the cube. So let's make it 8 meters by 4 meters, and that will be enough to stop the capuchins. And then I'm just going to go and run this all around the outside by the path. Now what I might need to do is take off the path just so I can get right up close, but I will basically put in a little moat, and I will come back and show you once that's done. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just neatening up this edge along here, and I'm going to use the coloured bamboo pieces and just kind of create a nice little edge around here. Each kind of piece, if you like, is one wall piece and one roof piece, and then you just duplicate with advanced move and you just shimmy it into place. It's a bit fiddly, it's a little bit time consuming, but it creates quite a nice effect. So that's basically just how I've been going along the edge and just neatening everything up basically. Once I have finished, I will come back and show you how I'm going to sort it out, because if you have a look here, there's quite a lot of wasted space, and I'm going to run the path closer to the edge of that, but if I do and then I put the water in, there's going to be issues, so I'll show you how I fix that. Okay, so I've gone and finished all of that off. What I'm going to do is make sure that I'm using the soil button, and I'm going to go and flatten the surface. and just pull that as far forward as I can, and then I'll come around and kind of neaten these bits up in a minute, but I just want to make sure that it won't try and clip the water through here. Right near there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the flat foundation tool, and I'm going to make sure that this bit is enough room to stop the capuchins from jumping out, and also to make sure that the birds tapir also have enough room to go kind of swimming and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to put that down to 3. Just put that along there. I'm going to bring this a bit forward just to make sure they have enough land area. Like so. And then I'm just going to go and smooth this edge here. I want this bit here to be quite rocky and just kind of like a bit of a feature, so I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to smooth it off, but I'm going to go and smooth all of this bit around here. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm just going to go back to probably the push tool. I'm going to take it off of 100% strength, and I'm going to make it a bit smaller, and then I'm just going to go and neaten up some of these edges here. Same thing with this bit here, and over here. Cool, okay. So where I've had to go and put this in, I'm going to go and adjust the habitat barrier and put the path back in, and put the water in, and then I will come and show you my progress. Okay, so I've gone in and I've put a trim around the edge of the path, just to kind of help stop the guests falling in a little bit, and then I've also gone and put some rocks around the edge here and in the corners, and I've requested the animals from the keepers, so they should be arriving in just a moment. And here they come! Oh, you cutie! Oh, they're adorable. Oh, they are so cute. Okay, so I've gone and put in all of the climbers, I've gone and put in the trees and like the temple and all of this stuff over here. So the last step really is just to do the fine work and the detailing, so all of the bushes, all the smaller plants, any other rocks that I want to place down. And actually these new mossy rocks are really cool, so I might go and put some more of those in the habitat. And basically just put the finishing touches on. Now I know when I did the last habitat I was a little bit too... I got too engrossed while I was filming, so I forgot to pause and show you guys how I did that. So I have remembered in this video to make sure that I show you the fine detailing. So one of the things that I like to do, especially in kind of the overgrown habitats with lots of foliage and stuff, is kind of imagine that the areas that are fairly open and clear, so where the keeper's standing, this sort of walkway around here, is probably going to stay quite clear. The areas around the climbing poles here, etc., are going to have more foliage because most animals aren't going to brush right up against the trees. So that's the kind of way that I tend to think about when I'm placing the foliage. Okay, let us go and grab all the plants that they like. So these guys, and tropical and temperate. Perfect. Quite a helpful little thing is these tend to pick up the smaller ones. If you want all of the plants, you can go to this one, and then you can also further filter down by whether or not they're climbable and that sort of thing. So I'm going to start off with... Let's go... To be honest, I'm probably going to get rid of temperate. I just want it to feel tropical. And I want to start off with a nice kind of shrubby bush kind of plant. So something like this, so something like the monkey face orchid, and then I'm just going to go around, sink it into the ground slightly, and then just place it around some of the posts and things, just to make it look a bit more overgrown, you know, like there was an original cluster and it's just kind of gradually spreading out and filling out more of the habitat, more of the zoo. Makes it feel a bit more organic and a bit more natural. And then I'll basically just rinse and repeat the process with other plants. So I'll go in with these flowers, for example, and use them to fill up the space. And just kind of keep cycling through all the different plants until I reach a kind of density that I'm happy with. Yeah, see, that looks much more alive. Much more tropical and lush and all that. So yeah, I'm happy with how that's going. And then the only other thing is, I want to add some of these guys. And they tend to grow on sort of trees and rocks and stuff. So I'm just going to scatter a couple around. I also want to say thanks to Ellis for suggesting a capuchin habitat. I hope you like it. And that's that for our capuchin habitat. I am so happy with how it turned out. So, let me show you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. Cheerio!